everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today here in Iowa it's another cold day. So what do you do when it's cold outside? You paper quill. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make some pine needles like these for the pine cone I made in my last video. If you guys missed that pine cone making video, you can find it in YouTube under Mary McCune Pine Cone Making. It's a great video. I suggest you guys check it out. For this pine cone needles, you'll need glue, scissors, or you can tear your strips. You will need 2 strips of light brown paper and 4 strips of a green paper. You will also need a damp paper towel, as well as a cork board with some straight pins and a paper quilling comb. Okay, so to make this pine needle like these, we're gonna first make the support. You're gonna take 2 of your brown strips, and for 1 strip you're gonna put glue all the way down and then glue the other one on top to make a thicker strip of paper. So we're gonna do that really quick. And then when I said you needed a wet wipe or a wet paper towel, this is why, because the glue can get very messy doing it this way. So we're just gonna add little glue on the strip of paper. You can either start adding the one on top, or you can finish gluing the strip of paper and then put it on top. So I'm just doing a little line of glue all the way down the strip of paper, just like this. And this is why I like to use a needle nose glue bottle, because it doesn't take a lot of glue and you're working in a thin area. And once you get to the end, I'm gonna go ahead and glue my other strip on top. I want to line the strips up. That way it'll be easier, because this is also what the pine needles are gonna go on. So it's easier if they're pretty much lined up. And I'm gonna keep pushing it so it's even and just go down, gluing them together. Like I said, this does get a little messy, so a wet wipe's good to wipe your fingers off. So once your strip is glued together and maybe dry, it's gonna be a little thicker and heavier. Then you're gonna take a green strip of paper and you're gonna make your first pine needle loop. So in order to do this, I'm gonna take a quilling comb and I'm gonna use the first 3 prongs or needles or teeth of the comb, and I put it through the 3rd, and I bring the end around the 3 teeth of the quilling comb like that, so it's a nice loop. I'm gonna slide it off and I'm gonna glue it right there. Once your loop is dry, you're gonna start attaching it to the top of the brown strips of paper that you just made. So we just hold it, and I'll let this one dry, as I already have another one created right here. So then when it's dry, you're gonna go to where you put the glue on, and I'm doing just a little strip that's below the loop, adding some clear glue. I use Elmer's clear glue. You can also use tacky glue. Whatever glue you want is fine. I have not tried this with a hot glue gun, so I don't know how it works. And you're just going to glue it to the brown strip of paper on the top. And then once that is done, you're going to start making your loops like this. So to do that, you're gonna take your brown strip of paper with your green, a cork board with straight pins, and I like to make mine in a triangle. I like to have one on the top. I'm going to move this one more towards the bottom and the other one at an angle. Now the loop you just made, you're going to put on top of the top pin, just like that. Now I like keeping the green paper next to the brown paper. It makes it easier for the loops. So you're going to bring this green one up and around the angled pin and not around the bottom pin. Just like this. And then you're going to slide them off like that. And this is going to be called the zigzag method, and you will see why. And then once you have that loop where you want it, you're going to put a drop of glue and form that loop again and glue it to secure it. Now you guys can keep using your straight pins and your cork board for this. I'm just going to do it holding it, so I'm going to move my cork board out of the way. Now it doesn't look like pine needles yet, but as we go we keep pinching them towards the top and you'll see the needles start forming. Then where I glued it, I'm just going to put a crease in it as I bring the paper up to form my next loop. And like I said, I use 2 strips of paper for each set of pine needles. And I'm going to put glue before you crease it to secure that little fold. And the zigzag method in quilling is where you just fold a piece of paper back and forth into a zigzag. And I'm just going to keep doing loops to show you guys how this is done. It does take time, and like I said, this video is going to be longer because it is in depth of how to make these pine needles, but I think they're relaxing and enjoyable. And it's starting to form. You're probably not going to be able to make enough loops with all of the paper, and that is okay because I just usually cut the end down. It's going to kind of look bulky, big, not really like pine needles, but as you keep pinching and gluing, they're going to start forming the pine needles. Pine needles, remember, and I just like to pinch them all together so they get that pine needle shape. Pine needles usually have some little ones, some longer ones. You guys can make them however you want. These are good by themselves. They are good together. With the pine cones, they're just a fun decoration that's easy, cheap to do. You can get your strips of paper online at quilling.com or quillingcreations.com for under $2. The glue you can get at Walmart for under $2. Hobby Lobby or your craft store or online sells the quilling comb for under $2, under $3 I believe. The little glue bottles are sold like $3 at your craft store with the needle tips. And you keep doing this till you get to the end of the strip, which we're almost there. And like I said, I like to keep the green next to the brown. It just makes it easier as I do this. And then we start on the other side. I like doing the other side because that way I can kind of keep it even. You just keep bending it back and forth. I'm working my way down the brown strip. Again, one of these brown strips makes 4 to 6 pine needle bunches if you want. And I think I can almost, this might be my last pine needle. And like I said, I'm just pinching them so they look more like pine needle shape. If you guys really like this video, please like, subscribe to my channel because you guys are great and amazing. I'm going to just finish this really quick so you guys can see that I probably won't have enough to do another loop. See how it doesn't make another loop? It'd be shorter, so I'm just going to leave that. And then I'm going to start the other side. Now the other side, you don't need to have that little first loop. So we're going to take another piece of green paper. I'm going to glue just a little to the brown. And I like to keep my fingers clean, that way you don't get the glue residue on your project when you're quilling. Now I'm just going to kind of make a loop with my finger and glue it, and we're going to do the same on both sides. I just kind of like them the same size. They don't have to be the same size. If you want them to be the same size, you can always pull your strip down if it gets too long. And then I just cut the little extra strip off, which I'll do in a little bit. So again, you're just doing the zigzag method. And we just go up, we fold, we bring the strip up after it's glued, we crease it, we make a loop and bring it back down, glue it, and repeat the process. Again, you guys can use the cork board again if you need to. You take that first loop you make, the first tall long loop you make, and you put it on the first top pin, and then start making your angled needles if you want. I like to hold mine. So I'm going to just finish the strip really quick so you guys can just keep watching. And I keep bending them so it keeps giving the shape of pine needles. At first, like I said, it just looks like loops, but now you're getting pine needle shapes coming along really nice. And like I said, I like to use 2 strips of paper, but I won't, or I'll start one extra strip on one side so you guys can see how to add it. Zigzag method is also good for other designs. Creativity, it makes bows. This is a good way to make bows. You just zigzag it back and forth. And we just keep doing this till we're at the end of the strip. And then, like I said, I like to cut my strips that I don't use. You can tear yours. I like cutting them. It gives it a cleaner line. Tearing gives it more texture. That's more fun. Sometimes your glue doesn't stick. You want it to stick. So this will probably be my last loop here. You may use a whole strip. Sometimes you don't use a whole strip of paper. That's fine, like I did on the other side. And if your loop's too big, you can always bring one side down like that. Okay, so now we have that started as our pine needles. A lot of pine needles are close together. They kind of start fanning out, but they're still very close together. So for your next strip of paper, I'm just going to cut this extra strip of paper. I don't want to do it clear up to the glue spot because that'll take off the whole strip. So I just go right there. And then you add the strip, another green strip, just like you did with the first 2. You just add the glue. You're not going to be doing so much the brown, it's more on the green. And you keep making these loops just like you did before. And like I said, you pinch the tops to get more pine cone needle shape looking loops like that. Again, if you guys like my channel, please like, subscribe. Feel free to leave me comments. I like to hear your ideas. I'm starting to make stuff for people to buy. If you guys want anything, please let me know. We can make an arrangement. I hope you join me for next time as we start talking about Valentine ideas. Thank you.